Good morning. It's time for our daily devotion. Yesterday we talked about the most unlikely things to thank God for, those things that are difficult and hard, painful, and sometimes we neglect to be thankful in all situations, in all circumstances. And I think it's important that we do that. Today I want to talk to you for a few minutes about thanking God during this Thanksgiving season for the most neglected things, the things that we forget, the things that we take for granted, the things that we let go by day after day after day and never really thank God for because they're just part of our everyday normal life. I'll tell you that if you've ever been without any of those things, you're a lot more likely to thank God for them. Things like a job. You know, some people go to work after high school or after college and they work one place every day the rest of their life until retirement. And I think if you are that kind of person, first of all, kudos to you. That must be an awesome kind of life in many ways to have that kind of stability and reliability in your job. But for those of us who have been without a job for any length of time, for those of us who've been unemployed, for those of us who had a difficult time finding jobs at certain times in our life, we have a tendency not to neglect the wonder and the blessing of having employment. When I first got out of college, I had a college degree. My wife had a college degree. Couldn't find a job anywhere. And my wife and I did some strange things that summer after graduating from college. We did door-to-door deliveries of free samples for 5 cents a sample, which means if you delivered 500, you made $25. That was before your gas and car expenses and all the rest, driving to and from work. I worked at Burger Chef as a closer because I had a baby and a wife to take care of, and I think I made $1.35 an hour, closing up every night, driving home. A lot of times it was midnight, 1 o'clock before I got home, and crawled into bed. All that with a college degree. And I have to tell you, when you've been through a few periods like that in your life, you are thankful for a job. If you've ever been without a house, we take a place to live, most of us, for granted. We just assume that there'll be a roof over our head, that there'll always be a place to come home and lay our head at night, a place to relax and eat meals and enjoy family. But for many Americans and for many people around the world, a house is not a given. For some of us, during periods of being unemployed or not having enough money or having some bad circumstances in our life, we found ourselves without a home. Several times my wife and children and I had to move back in with my mom and dad for a few weeks or a few months in between jobs or unemployment. And we don't ever take having a house for granted. Food, just the normal things of life. What about health? I suppose in many ways I've taken health for granted because I've never been sick very much. I've never been to the doctor much, never had any hospital stays. I've been in wonderful health considering my age and all those kinds of things, my heredity and my DNA, my genetic predisposition. I've had a wonderfully healthy life. But for those who have had difficulties in their health or sickness or disease, they don't just take that as something that they don't think about. Every day they get up and thank God for the blessing of health. And so here's my encouragement. Think about those things today that you might have a tendency to just let slide and not to really thank God for, that you might assume we're always going to be there, but that may or may not be the case. Take some time today to thank God for those things which are maybe the most neglected things in your prayers. Thank God for your home, for your house, for your shelter, for your clothes, for your food, for your family, for your health, for a job, for your education. And if you will spend some time being grateful for those things today, I believe it'll be a great blessing to you. And you'll begin to look at those things with a little more appreciation. Now, go make it a thankful and great day, and I'll see you next time.